Welcome back to Invest Insights Pro. A good gardener doesn't decide what to plant on a whim each morning, they keep an almanac, a few written rules for the seasons that quietly do the deciding. Investing works the same way. Today, Anita trades a year of anxious guesswork for a simple one-page rulebook, and finds that being decided in advance is what finally makes her consistent. Meet Anita. She's 32, a marketing manager from Kochi, and she invested in fits and starts, a fund here because a blog praised it, a stock there because a friend was excited, then months of doing nothing out of pure doubt. Every single decision felt like a fresh, stressful guess made from scratch. Her garden was a patchwork of impulse plantings, with no plan behind any of them. And here's what was really wearing her down. Every time a new tip or headline appeared, Anita redecided her entire approach from scratch. It was exhausting, and worse, it left her at the mercy of whatever she happened to feel that week, replanting the whole garden every time the wind changed direction. No wonder nothing ever took root. So one weekend, Anita replaced the guessing with 4 simple rules, written on a single page, her investing almanac. A horizon rule for how long she invests. A default rule for what she does when nothing special is happening. A competence rule for what she will and won't own. And a tips rule for handling the next hot recommendation. 4 lines, decided calmly and in advance, and suddenly the constant second guessing had somewhere to stop. Invest Pro names why this works. A written philosophy does your thinking for you in exactly the moments you'd otherwise be most tempted to improvise. Anita's 4 rules weren't clever or complicated, they were simply decided. And being decided in advance is the whole secret. It moves each choice from your most emotional moment to your calmest one. That's what turned her fits and starts into steady, repeatable habits that were finally her own. Here's Anita's one-page almanac, in plain lines. Her horizon rule: I invest for at least 15 years, so short-term moves don't concern me. Her default rule: my core is a monthly seep into a broad, low-cost index fund, running on autopilot. Her competence rule: I only buy businesses I can explain in one sentence, no derivatives, no crypto. And her tips rule: any hot tip goes on a watch list for a month, capped small, and I never act on it the same day. 4 lines, that's the whole philosophy. First for you. A thrilling new sector is all over the news, and you are tempted to overhaul your whole approach, but your written philosophy isn't triggered by any of it. What do? Rewrite your plan now because the trend's too big to ignore? Tweak it a little to squeeze the trend in? Or follow the framework: the trend isn't part of your plan, so you keep to your default? It's follow the framework. The entire point of deciding in advance is that exciting news demands no new decision. Rewriting your almanac in the middle of a hype cycle is exactly how good frameworks get dismantled. One more. You are writing your framework's default rule, what you do by default when nothing special is happening. What makes the strongest default for a beginner? Picking whichever sector looks hottest each month? Investing only when you feel confident? Or investing a fixed monthly amount into a broad, low-cost index fund, automatically? It's the automatic index seep. A default that depends on the day's news isn't a default at all, it's a monthly guess. Because most days are ordinary, a simple, automatic default quietly determines the bulk of your long-term result. Consistency, not cleverness, is what compounding rewards. And here's the shift Anita felt immediately. Once the 4 rules were written, the tempting moments were already handled in advance. When a new tip arrived, she knew exactly what to do with it: watchlist, small, not today. When markets dropped, she already knew she'd simply keep her seep running, because her money wasn't needed for years. The page did the deciding, not her mood, and that is what being consistent actually feels like. Now your turn, build your own almanac this week. Write 4 one-line rules: your horizon, your default, your circle of competence, and your plan for tips. That single page is your investing philosophy. Then date it and keep it somewhere you'll actually see it, and promise yourself you'll only change it in a calm moment, never during hype or a crash. Review it just once a year, deliberately. From then on, let the rules do your thinking for you. Here's the heart of Anita's story. Stop deciding how to invest one tip at a time. Build your rulebook once: horizon, default, competence, tips, and then simply follow it. 3 to keep. 1. Decide your rules calmly, in advance, not in the heat of hype. 2. A strong default is simple, automatic, and the same regardless of the day's news. 3. Revise your philosophy deliberately and rarely, never in the middle of a hype cycle. Write your one-page almanac, free, alongside a risk DNA assessment at app.invest-InsightsPRO.com. Your rulebook score is next.